So in a moment, I'm going to tell you a story, a real-life story of conversational hypnosis, and where conversational hypnosis made a huge difference to something. Before I do, I want to say that this video is going out on the morning of Friday, the 6th of June, 2014. And at the moment, this week, I've just launched the first hypnosis training I'm running in nearly a year, Hypnotherapy, Heresy. It's about doing change with clients. I've already put a video about that out. I've already explained it. There will be a link below here if you want to check it out. The reason I mention this before I tell this story of conversational hypnosis is because the early bird discount expires tonight at midnight. If you want to get on this training, you want to start making a difference with clients using hypnosis skills, get on this training, take action now. I'm assuming there'll be places left when this goes out on Friday morning. I'm recording this on Thursday lunchtime, and already there's only 5 places left. So be aware of that, go for that. Now let's talk about this conversational hypnosis story. Now this is a story about, this isn't a story from a conversational hypnosis, this is a story about a regular person, regular human being. My father, in fact, who a few years ago was the chairman of the Yare Boat Club in Norwich in Norfolk, here in the UK. And the Yare Boat Club is a rowing and sculling club. So if you've seen Olympic rowing, Olympic sculling, it's the same kind of thing. You know, they're tiny boats, all sat there in a line and rowing and sculling along. So they have a club which is a long-established club. They've been rowing on the River Yare, which is part of the Norfolk Broads system, so it comes under the Norfolk Broads Authority. Now at the time, this is going back a couple of years now, the Norfolk Broads Authority wanted to change some of the rules and regulations so as to allow more water skiing on the Broads and on the River Yare as well. Now, this was likely to be profitable for the Norfolk Broads Authority as a popular activity, water skiing, but it was going to mean that the rowers and scullers wouldn't be able to row and scull anymore. They weren't being told they couldn't, but it would have been too dangerous for them to do so with these power boats steaming up and down. The reason they needed to change the regulations was actually due to environmental reasons. They got speed limits and all of this kind of thing on the Broads. So the Broads Authority was looking to make some changes, and they were set on making this decision. There had been a number of public consultations. There were a lot of objections from different areas, but they were going ahead with it. The press had been brought in, but they were going ahead with it. The Yare Boat Club, under the chairmanship of my father, had written several letters and had several meetings and attempted to get them to understand that this was not, you know, in the best interests of the Broads. They come in from the environmental angle, they come in from the safety angle as well. In the end, it seemed they were getting nowhere. They were going to push ahead with this decision. My father said to me, he asked me, you know, what would you do? You know something about communication. How would you get it across to these people? How would you change their minds? So I had a long discussion with him, and I tried to get a sense of where the Norfolk Broads Authority might be coming from, which was difficult because I had to get, obviously, my dad's biases out the way. I wasn't speaking to them directly. But I had to make a guess in the end, and it seemed to me that the Broads Authority, or the people there who were making the decision, seemed to be in one place with it. They were focusing on one thing. All they could see was one thing. And they weren't seeing other considerations. They got wrapped around a single idea, almost like in hypnosis, so to speak. They got caught up in their own reality tunnel around it. And they needed to see something from a radically different perspective. So what I suggested to my dad was, in a forthcoming meeting that they were going to be having with the Norfolk Broads Authority, I suggested that he use the following line. One simple line, obviously amongst the other discussions he was having. The line is this: what will be your level of responsibility or culpability when someone is injured or killed as a result of your decision? That was the question. And the instruction was to deliver it and then leave a space. What will be your level of responsibility or culpability when someone is injured or killed as a result of your decision? Because they brought up the safety stuff before, and the Broads Authority had just kind of like ignored it, basically. And I wanted to make sure they couldn't ignore it. I wanted to make sure that they would associate into that scenario. So listen to the languaging there. What will be your level of responsibility or culpability? Which presupposes that they will have responsibility and culpability when, which implies it will happen, someone is injured or killed as a result of your decision. You see how that all connects together? It's implying, it's presupposing someone will be injured and killed. It's presupposing it will be as a result of their decision. So therefore, what will be their level of responsibility and culpability? Now, of course, if you know anything about hypnotic language, you'll know a question like that directs attention, what in NLP they call a transderivational search. It sends somebody inside of their mind. They have to go somewhere. They have to connect all the dots up. They have to be in that reality in order to even begin to answer the question. My guess was that it was going to be the first time they'd vividly entered that reality, because they'd been doing everything they could to stay out of it. I wanted to force them into it. So the meeting went ahead, and the line was used and delivered. It was also backed up in a letter. It was also put in a letter. And at the time, there was just a pause and a silence and a redirection of attention to something else. But a few days later, they dropped it. They dropped their decision. There'd been many, many consultations up until this point. They'd showed no sign. They were going ahead, they were going ahead, they were going ahead. And suddenly, boom, it changes. Now, I can't say 100%. I can't say that it was that made the difference. But if you ask my father, he believes that was the thing that made the difference, because they tried almost everything else they could think of and they got nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it made a difference, because it was put together to make a difference. It was put together on solid principles. You know? Conversational hypnosis, or the art of using language to direct attention and seed ideas, is a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. It's a deep thing. Some people know the Milton Model. They've learnt that. They think it's the be-all and end-all. But really, what you want to understand is what lies beneath. You want to understand the psychology of human beings. You want to understand specifically how you want to move their minds. Milton Erickson said he liked to give people as many choices as possible about doing exactly what he wanted them to do. He had a really clear intention. He always knew what he wanted. That is the underpinning of conversational hypnosis. Knowing what you want. How specifically do you want to move somebody's mind? Where specifically do you want to move it to? So that was what was clear in my mind when I was helping my father out there moving their minds. Where do we want to move their minds to? Okay, so there's a story, a true life story of conversational hypnosis in action. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about this, please do make use of the comments section below.